Welcome back to Man vs Film. I am continuing on with my Fu Manchu watch-a-thon with part 3 in the series, which is The Vengeance of Fu Manchu, which is number 203 in the indicator range. And we have moved away from Don Sharp being the director. It's now Jeremy Sommer who has moved on, and we get something that's a little bit different this time around in a Fu Manchu movie. It doesn't feel like a retread like the second one kinda did. This one offers some different locales, being some photography in Hong Kong. It has some nice jumping about. It feels like an adventure that's all over the world, and it has a ridiculously silly plot, as you would expect from these Fu Manchu movies. I kind of like that, to be fair. So in this one we have two vying plots, so it's nice to get a little bit of a break from that. Both of them are incredibly silly. The first one is we have an emissary from the United States travelling to meet Fu Manchu, who has kind of broken all roads to travel to his castle to stop anyone from getting to him. And this is a head of a crime organisation who is tying up with people or various crime organisations throughout the world to go and allow Fu Manchu to become leader of all crime. And we also have a really, I'm just going to say it again, silly but incredibly fun subplot of Nayland Smith being replaced by a doppelganger, because Fu Manchu has this doctor who is expert at plastic surgery, and he has made a clone of Nayland Smith to frame his adversary. And that's as simple a plot as you can get, and none of them really feel strong enough to hold a movie, but together they create some fun elements to this. I particularly like the subplot with Nayland Smith, as we get the actor Wilmer doing really good work as kind of being the stoic Sherlock Holmes character Nayland Smith, but also becoming even more stilted as he is a clone of himself who's made to look as though he has killed somebody, is now been going through the court system and being charged with murder and having his reputation torn asunder, all to the whim of Fu Manchu as he twirls his moustache maniacally thinking about this. There is various kind of subplots as well, as we follow a lounge singer who's moving from America, who's embroiled with the bad guys, who goes to Hong Kong to become a permanent feature within this bar, who gets drawn up in the antics as well. There is a local police chief who works with Smith to try and help him uncover certain information. And for the most part, it was very fun. It was fun because it kept throwing new characters in new situations. It didn't rely on the same old kind of shtick that we've seen in the previous two entries. It's colourful, it's bright, it has some nice outdoor photography. Even if Fu Manchu's castle looks a little bit cardboardy, there's some wonderful stuff here to do with the kind of actors and actresses that they have within the movie to really elevate it. Unfortunately, Christopher Lee looks a little bit as though he's sleepwalking through this one, not as interested, not as maniacal or scenery chewing as I would really have liked. You do feel like there's short shrift again on Fu Manchu in this one, because we have to follow several other characters. But again, what do you want? Do you want the same old repeat of what we've had before, or do you want them to try something new? I err on the try something new, and I found that The Vengeance of Fu Manchu to be a really enjoyable entry, pretty much on par with Brides for me. I still really like the face of Fu Manchu the best so far in this series, but these two have been solid movies that I've really enjoyed. Now, I was talking through YouTube with one of my friends, and we were talking about how one of the things that's missing from these movies, one thing that could have been more explored, is the relationship between Fu Manchu and his daughter. And it's something I probably should have mentioned earlier, but thanks to his utterance, it's reminded me to keep it in my forefront of my mind just now. And it's one of the most interesting aspects of the movies so far. Normally you get the bad guy and you get the hench person, and they have a kind of master, follower, disciple kind of relationship. But within the Fu Manchu series, you have a daughter, you have someone who is going to take on his legacy. And the fact that she is female and she is as accomplished and as forthright as she is within these movies and prevalent is a nice change of pace. The fact that she is looked after by Fu Manchu, you know, he kind of goes everywhere with her. He trusts her implicitly, as we've seen throughout the movies. He kind of cares for her. We've seen in small nuggets of information that's kind of there. And it feels like such a rich subplot that they could really have expanded on that throughout the movies rather than neglecting it to little nuggets of gold here and there. It's a fascinating aspect that just was overlooked, which is a little shame. The Vengeance of Fu Manchu is another winner for me. I really enjoyed it. It has that continued aesthetic, even more so now, of a kind of James Bond movie villain, so to speak, and it really does lean a little bit into the hokey with some of the subplots, but I kind of like that and it fits the movie. One of the fun things is watching the stunt actors that look nothing like the actual actors, just, you know, doing their stunts. It's just funny, adds a little bit of kitsch to the movie. It's just fun. It's little things that are thrown in that just add to the movie. Now I've got the 2 Jess Franco movies to go next, and I keep getting warned about number 5, a movie so bad it killed the franchise. Knowing my taste and what I like in movies, that could be a strong entry, but there seems to be a lot of people urging me to be wary of that. So next up we have The Blood of Fu Manchu, and I'll get back to you in a couple of days with my thoughts on that one. I'd love to know your thoughts on Vengeance. Let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.